Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. We are here. We are back. Please, 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 for any of you in the Henry County area, I did not get this sent out to the Henry County folks as early as I wanted to. Matter of fact, I literally just threw this out to everybody now, basically in Henry County. So if you know anyone from Henry County, you'll probably want to share this. For the longtime listeners, I apologize. It just must be that time of the month, but John Sproles is giving us a lot to work with, and we have another very Henry County John Sproles heavy episode. Now, do not worry, Muncie and Delaware County citizens, because we have a lot of Muncie and Delaware County material to get to this evening. That said, we do have a lot of Sproles material, and it is going to be the material that is up front early in the show. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Political Spotlight. I am your host, Christopher H. Bilbrey. Welcome. Glad to be here with all of you, and I welcome all of you. I've shared this to Facebook. Thank you, Cricket. Hello, Brenda. Hello, everybody. This is the thumbnail, the Sproles Spiral. Thank you, Mr. Jeff Walls for the idea for the title. In a conversation that I had with Jeff, this came to me, and so this is the title. It's the Sproles Spiral and more BS from around East Central Indiana. We have a lot to talk about this evening, but before we do that, I do want to give out a big shout out to not a long-time listener. They've been listening maybe for about the last year, I want to say, maybe the last year and a half. The Walls family, Mr. Jeff Walls and his wife, Amanda, they, as Henry County citizens, like to listen and follow along with what's going on in Henry County as well as the state. And Jeff has not been in the most optimal health as of late, and has been dealing with a pretty serious situation, a situation that yours truly dealt with back in 2017. It was a situation that resulted from some kidney stones, and it can get kidney stones is a situation that's very painful, and I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. Matter of fact, I wouldn't even wish a kidney stone on John Sproles. I tell you, they're that bad. They're very horrible. But and they're not normally like life threatening. Obviously, you just deal with the situation and it's gone. However, if you can't get it passed and they don't go in to get it, it can cause a situation that can really mess you up. It causes a lot of pain, and it can get you septic, and it can really cause a lot of chaos in your life. And so I'm glad that he is on the mend and is doing better. And that's something that you guys all need to keep in mind. And I like to tell everybody, your doctor's supposed to be working with you, supposed to be a teammate with you. It's your body. And if you ever feel like something's going on that's not quite right, and you feel like your doctor isn't listening to you or isn't taking your concerns serious, there is never a problem with saying, okay, well, I'm going to seek out a second or third or fourth appointment and consideration. So, that's very important. Cricket says, let me get this. I'd rather have another baby than have a kidney stone. Not even joking. And I will tell you, most of the women in my life that I've talked to that have not had kidney stones, I will say, I've heard women say this and they're like, oh yes, shut up. That's not serious. But any women that have ever had kidney stones and had babies will tell you that they would normally would rather just have a kidney stone or excuse me, another baby rather than uh-oh, hold on here. Sorry. I'm getting hot off oh, okay. Hot off the presses news, but I'm going to have to let it ride for a bit. So, okay. Well, we will have some information coming up soon. I tell you, it just we are getting into a quick and fast-paced part of the year with the election staring us down and a lot of things going on government-wise. We have a lot going on. So if you are not subscribed to the Political Spotlight on YouTube, you need to get subscribed. Hit the subscribe button. Once you hit the subscription button, it will give you the option. You'll see a little bell there. You'll want to click that bell, and that way you can hit where it says notifications. That way you can be notified when we go live and when we release shorts and other static videos. You'll be able to get notified of all of that, and that's very important. The other things on there, obviously, hit the like on all the videos. That helps us out. If you're watching live, please comment live in the live chat box. If you're watching on repeat, please comment down below in the comment box. And above all else, please share the show with everyone you know. All right, hey, let's get right into it because we've got a lot to talk about this evening. John Sproles, man, he's the gift that keeps on giving. I tell you, my write-up about it, the description says it just must be that time of month because we have another Henry County heavy, John Sproles heavy show for you all tonight. But don't worry, Muncie and Delaware County people, because we have stuff for you as well. Do not miss this episode. Henry County, Indiana, John M. Sproles simply cannot help himself. He cannot keep his mouth shut and take the higher road. Like not ever, never. He must open his mouth. He must talk and talk and talk and talk some more. Apparently never realizing that he is saying some of the most foolish things and making the situations that he is in worse. He even said once, and I swear to you, I swear this. This is an actual John Sproles quote. He said, and I quote, "Even my wife tells me from time to time that I should leave well enough alone. I should leave this alone or I should leave that alone. But he went on to say, I'm just not capable of doing that. Now, I understand. I know that feeling. I understand when you get a bone and you want to dig and you keep digging up bones. The difference is you kind of have to look at the past and determine, like, there might be people that don't like the content that I put out, or there might be people that don't like what I say, or that don't agree with me politically, and that's just politics. That's the way it goes. But very, very, very rarely am I wrong. All right? You might not like what I say, but I'm not wrong. If I'm wrong, I will admit I'm wrong. However, Sproles, unless something is just completely mentally off, he should be able to look back and say, whoa, I have a trail of losses behind me. Maybe this is not the best thing that I should be doing right now. All right? I cannot understand this. Doug says he can say that he's been cleared by the feds, which I know for a fact he has not been. Matter of fact, the feds were in town last week, and I will have more about this next week, I hope. Doug, you are feel free to reach out to me, communicate with me, contact, do whatever. I'm definitely interested in that. I will tell you, from the sources that I have talked to, from the sources that I have, they have all said that he has not been cleared. He has not been cleared by the Department of Justice. Now, the FBI might have told him, we're done interviewing you. We're done talking to you. We don't need to talk to you any longer. They might very well have said that. But that does not mean that they are done with him. Here's the other thing. At the end of the day, we all know that the FBI are very possibly capable of being screw-ups as well. Maybe they are done with him. Maybe they have cleared him. At the end of the day, that's not who he is beholden to. He is beholden to the voters of Henry County. So maybe, just maybe, the FBI has cleared him. I don't think they have, but let's just play devil's advocate for a second and pretend like they have. Whatever. I would be surprised if there are any FBI agents living in Henry County that would be voting for him. The FBI is not going to either elect him or unelect him as sheriff in 2 years. So the FBI can keep on investigating him, or they can side with him and say, oh, it looked like what you were doing was okay. I don't know. They don't ever tell us what they're thinking. They either will pick him up one day or they won't. Furthermore, that's not anything that Michael Mahoney should be worried about. And if the federal government has said, hey, we're going to clear him, okay, all the better. Michael Mahoney, I'm now calling on you to formally charge John Sproles in the battery on Marquette Neal. If you feel, Michael Mahoney, that you have enough to charge Curtis Doty, which is, I guess, what Sproles pronounced his name as, Doty. So I guess until I hear otherwise, that's what I'll call him too. Sproles did employ him, apparently. But if Mahoney feels that he has enough to charge Doty, I'm here to tell you, sir, you have enough to charge John Sproles. Keep in mind, I'm not just talking out my ass. I have worked in a prosecutor's office. I am very well aware. I have been a police officer. I have wrote police reports. I've been a patrolman. I've been an investigator. I'm aware of what it takes. So, if the federal government's no longer investigating Sproles, wonderful. Michael Mahoney, I am asking and telling you to review the Sproles case and to charge him. Because if you don't have enough reason to charge Sproles, then you don't have enough reason to charge Doty. I'm sorry. Marquette Neal, yeah, he was being a punk. He was running his mouth. He was cussing at him. He was saying, he was acting like a hard ass. He was kicking a steel door. No one was in danger. There were literally less people in danger in the Marquette Neal situation than in the Doty Flick situation. I know that Matthew Flick was facing the wall, was sitting down, was apparently doing what he was told, but at least he was in the room with other people and with Doty. Marquette Neal was behind a wall. Behind a wall. Just completely insane. All right, so what am I talking about? Well, last night, we talked about the situation with Fox News. And I can't remember, did we play the Fox News piece? We did, didn't we? Last night? Yeah, we played the Fox News piece. I've watched it. I've watched and listened to so many of this crap. I can't recall what I've done live or not done. So last night we went through the Fox News piece. Fox News is who's really kind of investigating Sproles. See, Sproles has a friend. Oh, they're saying last night. No, we didn't. We talked about it. Oh, not last night. Excuse me. The last night we were on Sunday night. Last night was the okay. I'm glad. We talked about Sproles and the Doty situation on Sunday. Last night, Fox News ran a piece on Sproles. And so, I apologize. I forgot. Last night we were off. Yes. Last night was my mother's birthday, and we had some things going on, and so we did not have a show last night. So I apologize for being off, and I normally would say that when we first started the show, but yeah, that's what we had going on last night. So I am sorry for the misunderstanding there, the confusion. Let me back this up here. I want to show you this. So I guess we'll start there, because this all started because, in my opinion, the Fox News piece, it was neither good nor bad. It was not something that was it wasn't like bad to Sproles, but it wasn't necessarily good. It was just a piece that basically explained what happened and asked him some questions and kind of let Sproles be Sproles. That's basically what happened. So I feel like, it wasn't a big deal really either way. So let me pull this up here. Thank you. 58th birthday. Happy 58th birthday. I don't think this is her 58th birthday. Let's see here. Is it? Uh, oh, no. This is definitely not her 58th birthday. Now, for the people that heard the radio piece, how long was that interview? Ryan, can you tell me how long the radio piece was? Because I have an interview that is quite long, and we're going to listen to that here in a minute. And Charlize sent me the CBS 4. I think CBS 4, I don't know. I think they might be the same piece, kind of. I don't know. We'll look at this. So, we're going to play it, Diane. Don't worry. We're going to get into that because that's the whole point of this episode. Okay. So the Fox 59 piece says this. Wow, damn it. Come on, let's get all this crap out of the way. I always hate those pop-ups. I hate all this crap on the screen. A Henry County corrections officer has been fired and charged with misdemeanor battery for firing a pepper ball gun at a jail inmate. Curtis Doughty is scheduled for trial in July in connection with an incident on February 13th. According to the probable cause affidavit, jail inmates were moved into the recreational yard while cells were searched for contraband. Once in the yard, inmates were instructed to sit facing the wall. Doughty, armed with a pepper ball gun, repeated the instructions to inmate Matthew Flick. On body camera video from another corrections officer following the the following brief conversation can reportedly be heard. Flick, I'm facing the wall. Face the wall. You're looking at me. Face the wall. I'm looking at the effing wall, dude. Doughty fires pepper ball round into Flick's back. Face the effing wall. In an interview with Fox 59, Flick picked up the story and said, "Why did you shoot me? Like I'm doing what you said." And he said, "Stand up." Grabs me, pulls me up, handcuffs me. I'm still not being combative. I'm a pretty good sized guy. Still not being combative. And I'm like, "Why did you fire at me?" You know? And it's burning at this point. And he handed me off to another guard and he said, "Go cuff him to the effing bench up front." And here's Mr. Matthew Flick. Of course, he pulled out the cross for the on-camera shot there, obviously. Informed of the shooting, Sheriff John Sproles ordered his detectives to look into the incident. Did Sproles order his detectives to look into the incident that he was in? With the investigation just beginning, Sproles made the decision to fire the CO after the following morning for inappropriate language. "I do not accept dropping F-bombs. Just don't do that, period. But especially in interacting with citizens, I've terminated several COs specifically for this," said Sproles. Sproles added that Flick had been jailed since November without any complaints from staff. This is the second time in 7 months that a Henry County jail inmate has been shot with so-called less lethal. Now, this is the only thing I have a complaint with Fox 59. So-called less lethal. No. Beanbags are called less lethal. They can still kill you. They're called less lethal. Pepper ball is called non-lethal. There's a difference. Now, anything could kill you. I could knock you over with a remote control, and if you hit your head, you're going to die. So basically, anything could kill you in the right condition, I guess. But there's definitely a difference between a pepper ball, which is considered less lethal, and a beanbag, which is considered less lethal, and a pepper ball, which is considered non-lethal. On January 6th, January 6th of 2023, last year, inmate Marquette Neal was shot 4 times with beanbag rounds by the sheriff himself. Sproles said it was necessary to get Neal to stop kicking his cell door. The beanbag rounds, fired from less than 2 feet away, opened wounds behind both of Neal's knees. Neal has notified the sheriff's office he intends to file lawsuits. Flick is also planning legal action. That's why I'm speaking with a lawyer. It's not about money with me. It's not about that. I'm going to see to it that something like this doesn't happen again, Flick said. Okay, that's the little piece. Now, let's watch this. Let's, I guess, see if there's a video. I guess. Let me click here on this other piece and see if there's a video here. I know that there's a video that I watched from last night, and a couple of you sent it to me. Hold on here. Let me get this video to pull up. Yeah, here we go.
You're going to want to get the door because Jenny Craig is back and better than before.
We're not advertising for Jenny Craig. Give me a second. It's almost over.
A Fox 59 investigation. A fired Henry County corrections officer is headed to trial charged with battery.
As Chief Investigator Steve Brown reports, the officer was promptly fired after shooting a jail inmate with a pepper ball gun.
I do not accept dropping F-bombs. I just don't do that, period, but especially in interacting with citizens.
And technically, Sheriff John Sproles fired Henry County Corrections Officer Curtis Doty for use of profanity.
Your COs know if they use this language,
They do.
they're out of line.
They do. And I'll be honest with you. I have terminated several COs specifically for this.
Doty's employment at the jail was terminated the morning after he used a pepper ball gun, like this one, to shoot jail inmate Matthew Flick.
I don't know what his motive was. You know, I don't know if he's got anger issues or what.
According to court records, on February 13th at the jail, there was a search for contraband. Inmates were led into the recreation area and patted down by jail staff. Then they were told to sit on the floor and face the wall. Doty, armed with a pepper ball gun, repeated the command to Flick.
So I'm facing the wall, man. You know what I mean? Hands were in the air. I said, he was like, face the effing wall. I said, I'm facing the wall. And he shot me from this far from my back, directly behind me, standing above me. I still got the bruise on my back.
Flick is defended by a witness, Corrections Officer Keith Sells, who told investigators that prior to the shooting, Matthew was not being combative or trying to get up at all. This marks the second time in 7 months a Henry County jail inmate was fired upon with so-called less lethal ammunition. In July, the sheriff himself fired 4 beanbag rounds at Marquette Neal for kicking a cell door.
Kick it again, you get another one.
Neal suffered wounds behind both knees and has filed notice that he intends to sue the sheriff's department.
Supposed to be safe.
Flick plans to do the same.
And I intend to file one. You know, that's why I'm speaking with a lawyer today.
Meanwhile, Doty, facing a misdemeanor battery charge, is scheduled to have his case go to trial in July. In Newcastle, Steve Brown, Fox 59 investigates.
You are muted.
There we go. That was the piece from Fox 59, and as we heard, it wasn't against Sproles, but it wasn't pro Sproles. So what did Sproles do today? Well, he just cannot stand if he doesn't control the word. Now, let me tell you something that Sproles has said in the last 2 weeks. These words came out of Sproles' mouth. Sproles said, I am hearing that Bilbrey has the ear of a couple of folks in the Indianapolis media, and that is not good. Sproles is concerned that I have been talking to a couple of folks and that I have a good working relationship with other of the media from Indianapolis, some of the larger news media in Indy. So Sproles then needed to do the only thing that he could do. He needed to reach out to a friend of his, and from there, the audio that we're going to hear here in just a moment is the audio that I heard today. And I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm shocked. Like, this is why, honestly,
you're as shocked as Sproles is all the time.
Yeah, I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I'm not trying to be ugly here. I'm just shocked. I cannot, like, I would like to ask Sproles to do an interview, and as stupid of an idea for Sproles as that would be, I about half think he would do it. I would love to sit down and just be like, all right, Sproles, I'm going to turn the recorder on and I'm just going to let you talk. And then he would probably talk and talk and talk because he does not know when to shut up. Now, I know that's hard to believe coming from me, but I'm telling you, something is off with this dude. He does not have the ability to stop. So give me a moment here. I'm going to play this audio. See here. All right, here we are. Yeah. All right. Perfect. Wonder why the news media didn't ask Sproles about his involvement with Marquette Neal. Well, I think Fox 59 is. I think they're currently working on a piece. And what we're going to hear here in a minute, this interview does ask him about it. Okay. So let's get prepared. Get yourself ready, because this is like an ordeal. All right. This is like an ordeal. Here we go.
Well, there was an incident that occurred at at our Henry County Jail. I don't have the dates right in front of me here, but in which he deployed the pepper ball round on an inmate. When I was made aware of it, I had them download the camera footage and send it to me. And the reason that I terminated him is just right off the bat was the language. One thing that I'm very particular about is treating our inmates with care, not using abusive language. I campaigned on the fact that if I become the next sheriff, the F word on duty is out the door. It's just not professional. And it never is professional. And so, that's one thing that I've made very clear from the front. And I'm not, I'm not headhunting, just looking for anytime somebody flips with the word. I understand that people who are used to using that, it may slip sometimes, but, especially when we're dealing with the public, dealing with inmates, it's just something that's not acceptable. And we've terminated several people who have just refused to quit using it. And it escalates situations.
Yeah, this situation seemed kind of tense. Now, according to the report, Curtis Doty was...
It's Doty is how it's pronounced.
Doty, okay, thank you for the correction. So Curtis Doty was asking this inmate to get against the wall, and when the inmate said he was facing the wall, Doty insisted that he wasn't and shot him. Beside the language that you fired him for, what else bothers you about this incident?
Well, so we first of all, just to be very clear, he was facing the wall. Obviously, I mean, you have to turn your head a little bit to communicate, as the corrections officer was, kind of behind him to his right, I believe. So, if you're going to communicate, you're going to turn your head a little bit, but he was, from what I saw, he was sitting with his feet against the wall, facing the wall, like everybody else was. And so, it's just an interesting situation, an unfortunate situation, because there didn't really even seem to be any back and forth. The corrections officer, told him to face the wall. I believe the inmate said, "I am facing the effing wall." And there was just a couple of back and forth with, I said to face the effing wall. No! And they deployed the pepper ball round, which struck the inmate on the back. So, as soon as I was advised of the situation, just shortly after it happened, we, I said, I want to make sure that the corrections officer has been sent home pending further review. I had our detective division immediately come in and interview everybody that was involved. And then we turned that information over to the prosecutor. But I went ahead and terminated him the next morning. When I reviewed the camera and was talking to my chief deputy, I said, just right off the bat, I mean, I can't deal with that.
Pause. Wait, what's JS saying here? I know for a fact that the guy he called a gang leader has filed a tort claim and is suing him. He is a cop in Indianapolis, and it's no one you have heard of or mentioned on the show. Are you talking about Humphreys, Officer Humphreys? I interviewed him, if that's who you're talking about. We have a whole interview. If that's who you're talking about, JS, it might be somebody else. Maybe there's another cop that he's also done that too. But if you're talking about Humphreys, that was the cop in Shirley that we interviewed him a while back.
Type of language, and especially in an abusive manner. So that was the reason that he was terminated. Obviously, the deploying the pepper ball round was under investigation.
Now, Sheriff Sproles, this is not the first time this has happened. Actually, there was a time in which you personally had to shoot an inmate with the pepper bowl. What happened in that incident?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yes.
In that incident, the inmate was violently kicking a solid steel door in a solid block wall. And
now listen to this.
And
okay, so here he talks to the gentleman about Marquette Neal. Now listen to what Sproles says is his reasoning for shooting Marquette Neal. Listen.
Yeah, that's correct. In that incident, the inmate was violently kicking a solid steel door in a solid block wall, and refused to stop kicking the door. And you'd have to I guess you'd have to be there to understand the violent force in which he was kicking it. In
the violent force with which he was kicking this door, that is a completely steel door that closes against steel inserts, that does not let the door opens inward, not outward. So it's not like he was going to kick the door out. The door can only go in. All right. He wasn't going to kick the door down. He wasn't going to break out. All right. He was not a threat to anyone on the outside of the door. In no way was he a threat to anyone on the outside of the door. No one was in the cell with him. And literally, like a child, you could have let him sit there and kicked and kicked and kicked and kicked and kicked. And nothing would or could have happened that would have in any way hurt anyone other than possibly hurting Marquette Neal. But quite honestly, I don't believe that could have happened. I doubt very seriously if he could have hurt himself. Now he might have if he kept it up, but I think at that point he would have quit. Now, before we continue on, I'm going to let you hear what the serious violence of that sounded like. The sheer violence. All right, let's listen to this. No, I don't believe that they are, Jackie, and nor are they in Delaware County any longer.
It was me and him by ourselves, and then oh, there he goes. Flip the camera on the. Yeah.
Hang on. No, they all walked out that door already.
They probably heard it.
He stopped.
He covered the camera. Yep.
He stopped kicking. He's no longer kicking. All right, now they're up here. They're up here.
You'll get all your stuff. What? Hold up, listen. Take the stuff off the camera, please.
There he's
I'm
kicking.
right here, man.
Do you see the door shaking or moving?
Hey. Listen. So if I shut you today, take this damn window. Every time you have
Mm-hmm.
There he kicked.
I'm right here, man.
The guy's hand's not even moving. He's not moving that door. Okay. Now let's kick back here to the interview. All right. Now listen to what Sproles says.
in road patrol, we've all had times, and you'd have to I guess you'd have to be there to understand the violent force in which he was kicking it. in road patrol, we've all had times where we have needed to kick in a door for exigent circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And, I can remember one time in particular, I kicked in a door, just a typical residential door. It popped open with the first kick. But the next morning, I tried to get out of bed and I realized I couldn't walk. So I think I spent about 7 days with, my knee swollen up and I had injured my knee. So, I knew.
That's because he's an FNG and doesn't know how to kick a door in.
Yeah, right. Right. Literally.
kicking
I mean, this man is trying to literally say, listen to what this sheriff is saying. I was simply trying to kick just a regular door down, and I kicked it in, and the next day I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't walk, and it took me 7 days. First of all, does anybody believe that? I don't know that I believe that. Second of all, if that happened, it's because Sproles is an idiot. Sproles wasn't mule kicking the door. I could see him karate chopping the door, kicking it like he was, Chuck Norris or some shit. And he kicks the door and messes up a knee or something. Neil had his back to the door, and was lifting his foot off of the door and was mule kicking it, flat-footed. Mule kicking the back of the door with flat foot. At some point, he was going to get tired and he was going to stop. All of this happened with him was just a compliance issue. They wanted to be the big bad boss, and Sproles was there. Why in the hell did he have a helmet on? Okay. Oh, I guarantee you, Mayor. I guarantee you he is. I guarantee you he is. All right. Now, let's continue on here.
The door, and he only had slides on, flip-flops, whatever you want to call them. And so, we had told the inmate, stop kicking the door. We can't let you keep kicking the door. You're going to have to go to a padded cell. And I think there was a comment about, I'll rip the padded cell apart and kick that door all day long too.
Okay.
Something of that effect. So, once I realized that the officer that was communicating with him at that time, he's really one of the only corrections officers that really had any respect from that inmate. And once I saw that, he's not listening to him anymore, that's when I stepped up and said, hey, if you don't stop kicking the door, you're going to get a beanbag round. And I clearly showed him the beanbag deployment device.
The 12-gauge shotgun.
And so he made some kind of comment of bring it on, MF, or something of that nature. And so he ran back,
he called Sproles a naughty word.
A beanbag round on his left hamstring area. He turned around and said something like, is that all you got, or something of that nature? And I said,
and that made my
if you kick the door again, you'll get another round.
So I said, kick the door again, you're going to get another one.
Again, got a round in his right hamstring area, and then made some other comment of that. Is that all you got? And I just told him, if you kick the door again, you're going to get another.
You're going to get another round. Do you guys have more ammunition? We'll be here all night.
He hammered his chest with his fist and yelled really loud, and then kicked the door as hard as he could again. And he got another round. So,
and he got another round and another round.
It was very clear, don't kick the door anymore, and we're good. Was not worried about him damaging the door necessarily. I was very much worried about him breaking an ankle, splintering his skin bone. That's not the
JS, I would love to talk to that guy. I would be willing to talk to him. I've went around with that guy that you're talking about a couple times. He's called me, and I spoke with him. The trouble is when he calls, and the times I've talked to him, he's always said like he can't tell me anything, and basically the situation has always been, he has information. He wants to release information. He would like to tell his story. So then I say, okay, like, you're prepared. You want to tell it now? Do you need to talk to your attorney? And he said, oh no, I've already been cleared to talk about it. So then upon asking him questions, then he says, oh, I can't answer that. I can't answer this. I can't answer that. So then I'm saying, okay, well, what is it that you would like to say? And he's like, well, Sproles is right about this, this, and this, but he was wrong about what he said about me. So I would be willing to talk to him. And if he wants to get in contact with me again, the last time that we spoke, he was very upset with me. Because here's the deal. I'm not just going to put somebody on that I have not talked to. Like, I'm not just going to have somebody call me out of the blue and say, hey, I've got information. Put me on your show live. I'm just not going to do that, because I'm not, contrary to what Sproles thinks, I do put factual information out, and I vet the information. So I'm willing to talk with him, and I'm willing to put him on the show. I just need to know beforehand what he's going to talk about. So, like, if you know how to get in contact with him or have access, we've had a couple people that have talked with him. I thought at first you were talking about Humphrey, but then I remember who you're talking about. He's the guy that was on the reserve, and he tried going down to the one department with that guy, and they tried getting on, and he told everybody that he was the gang leader. I know who you're talking about now. I would be willing to have him come on and tell his story. But before he does that, he's got to tell me his story. So number one, I can kind of formulate questions around it and kind of know where we're going, because I wouldn't ever just let him come on and just go wildly without knowing what he's going to say. Like, I would like to have a clue of where we're going first. So if you have a way of getting in contact with him, I would love to talk to him, because he's the only person in this situation that I haven't talked to. I've talked to the guys down in the police departments, small town departments. I've talked to the Sproles people. He's the only person I haven't talked to, but every time we've tried to hook up a couple different times, and it's always been very, very bizarre. But I'm willing to, I'll give him a shot. If he wants to reach out to me, I will definitely talk to him.
Medical word for it, I guess. But so I can't, we can't just sit there and watch somebody injure themselves.
We can't watch someone injure themselves. So we have to step up to the plate to injure themselves for themselves. We would hate for him to get a little soreness on the bottom of his foot, and maybe his leg be sore. Maybe he have shin splints. We would hate for him to have like restless leg syndrome from his muscles aching. So what we would much rather do is we would rather shoot him at point blank range with a projectile 4 times, causing him extreme situation in which he needs to be taken to the hospital by ambulance and get stitches, like up to 28 in both legs. That's what we would prefer to do, rather than allowing him to hurt himself mildly.
Obviously drew heavy scrutiny. And, as I have told other reporters, I hate the situation. Nobody wins in that type of situation. And it was heavily and thoroughly investigated by the FBI under the direction of the Department of Justice. And the FBI finally sent me an email saying that they had taken all of the evidence to the Department of Justice prosecutors, and they were not going to move any further with the case. So, every situation has its own circumstances, and I wish that entire situation never occurred. Anytime somebody gets injured, and the beanbag rounds are not made to injure. They're not supposed to penetrate the skin. I knew
Whoopsie, they did.
All that I knew from this inmate was that, he wanted to go hands-on with our officers. It had been made very clear to him multiple times when he had refused to do certain things, refused to lock down. He wanted interaction.
What? Wait a minute. What email I was texting? What email are you talking about?
He said he got an email from the feds that they were dropping it all.
Yeah. I've thought about doing that, and I've heard him mention that before, and I will put in that request tomorrow. It'll be interesting to see what their excuse for denying it'll be, but I will put in a request for that tomorrow.
With physical interaction with our corrections officers, and at times past, he has injured multiple officers in altercations at the same time. So
he has.
I was not going to open the door and put.
There was no reason to open the door
there because of the history of violence and because of the threats of violence. We had those continually from him. So
sure.
There are.
But also what Sproles fails to tell you. What Sproles fails to tell you, and you guys can go back and watch the actual body cam footage. You can go back and watch the body cam footage from basically the entire time. Okay, so he's in the jail cell now. All right, Sproles is talking about the fact that he's threatening to hurt all these officers, okay? And essentially, there is a 29-minute video of Mr. Neal where he's here doing the thing they don't want him to be doing, as you can clearly see, all right? He's there, and he's dealing with them. He's not handcuffed. You see, he's not handcuffed here. Now, he's moody and he's mouthy. He's doing what inmates do, like, look, they're not going to be, they're in there for various reasons. Maybe some of the reasons they're in there for are legitimate. Maybe some of them aren't. Maybe he's coming off drugs. Maybe he's got mental health issues. Maybe he's had a traumatic life. Maybe he's caused trauma, and that just obviously he's not at his best point here. Whatever the situation is, they're not at a resort, okay? So of course he's going to be moody and whatever, it is what it is. But he's not ripping Guffey's face off. He's not ripping this dude's face off. He's not jumping around the room and doing shit.
In fact, he was being so compliant at this point, they hadn't even cuffed him.
Yeah, he's not cuffed. And not to mention, they allow him to walk unrestrained. Watch this. They allow him to walk unrestrained through the main area here. Unrestrained. He even started to kind of get tough there. Say what? And he was like going to kind of blow up, but he didn't. And they're walking through. Look, he's uncuffed. Look at him. Oh man, he's like slapping his hands together. He's not. He's sitting here on a bench.
The next 30, 60 days, I bet you'll be on.
Talking, it's like they've got like these 5 guys around. These people actually, no, they didn't, because they've came through. They're in the jail, so they don't have their gun. None of these people have guns.
Oh,
so,
look at them though. They look terrified.
Yeah, right. They're
obviously terrified of him.
Yeah, right. No one's really paying him much mind. Nothing's happening, and all this time, he does everything. He complies with everything. Here's what he said, and here's what the issue was. He wanted his paperwork. He was afraid because he had filed a complaint against them for their treatment of inmates. and he was afraid they were going to do something with his paperwork. All he was saying was, bring me my paperwork, and I will not. That's what he wanted. I'm going to kick the door till you bring me my paperwork. All right? If you're going to play a battle of wills with him, don't bring him the paperwork. Let him kick the door till he gets tired. Or bring him the damn paperwork and if you want him to quit. You know, it's okay for any number of situations to occur. I think the only situation that wasn't okay was what actually happened. I think that's the only situation which I think was probably inappropriate. Neil was in for suspected probation violation, waiting to see the judge. His case was dismissed. He wasn't guilty. Somehow that feels even more sickening, though it shouldn't have ever happened. Yeah, Lewis, that's Eric Lewis. That's the other situation. Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. So that's Marquette Neal wrote a book when he was in prison last time. It's actually a very good book. Holy shit. I'm going to have to pick that up and get that book. That would I would read that.
That are made to gain compliance. And unfortunately, in this situation, you know, the third and fourth round is what penetrated his skin. So, like I said, it's unfortunate, and I hate it. I wish the entire situation never occurred. But we can't let people. You know, we just can't let people injure themselves while we're all standing there watching.
Yeah.
So we made it very clear. Just don't kick the door. That's all we're asking. It's very simple. Don't kick the door or you will get a round. So I did not, it was 1 for 1, very clear.
Yeah.
1 round.
So it sounds like a completely different situation than the instance where you fired Mr. Doty. So
Yeah, right.
with that said, the inmate that Mr. Doty hit with the pepper ball and
Right.
the past incident that you were dealing with, that you were cleared in an FBI investigation, I
Right.
guess both people are threatening legal action. And of course that would come at the expense of the taxpayers. So what would you tell Henry County taxpayers that are concerned about some of the behavior at your jail?
Right. Yeah. So, you know, right now, obviously it's a big topic of conversation. There are, there is quite a few tort claims or lawsuits that have been filed. And obviously I can't speak specifically to specific claims that are in litigation, but in general, I would say this is very clear. There is a hard push from a certain element of people to go after Sproles. It's interesting to me that I don't even know these people. I did not know these people until I started running for sheriff, and then I realized, 4 or 5 people climbed out of the woodwork that just, I guess they are obsessed with Sheriff Sprouls for whatever reason. Some of those people have now, one of them especially has been jailed for
not me.
Child molestation. And
back up on that one.
But so there is
a
strong push to file lawsuits.
Back up. Gosh. For the record, Josh had not filed any lawsuit against Sproles. Not one. He did not file any suit against John Sproles. He did not file any tort claims against Sproles. He did not file a tort claim or a lawsuit against Henry County. So what he's trying to do there, Mr. Sproles is trying to do, is he's attempting to see, you see, and I'm just going to say this one time only, and then I don't know that I'm going to say it ever again. Sproles is attempting to conflate me and Josh, and he's trying to make me molester because Josh did something, okay? And whatever, Now, if I was a bad guy like that, I don't have to go out and look for people's Sproles knows. I simply have to say, hey, it could be me laying at the half court line of my basketball of my basketball court in the school that is in my backyard where we teach some kids, and it could have been me laying on the floor having a mental breakdown, threatening to kill myself, and my fellow deputies had to come in and get me. And because of that, I don't know if we should trust someone that's that mentally disturbed, but I don't go there. But Sproles continues and continues and continues to try to paint me as some kind of bad guy because some other dude out here in the world that also thought Sproles was a tool. Listen, it's amazing. Normal people think Sproles are idiots. Child molesters think Sproles are idiots. I'm sure there are drug addicts that think that Sproles are idiots. I will tell you, there's definitely cops that think Sproles are idiots. There are attorneys that think Sproles are idiots. There are farmers that think Sproles are Sproles an idiot. So it's like all kinds of, it's like he's really ran the gamut. There's not 4 or 5 people. There are over 10 that have filed tort claim notices. Are all 10 of those people going to file lawsuits? No. Sproles is right. Anybody can file a tort claim notice. Anybody can do that. I would be more concerned with the people who have filed the actual lawsuits.
So what is the difference between a tort and a suit, please?
Just a tort claim is basically a notice that someone files that tells the government that, hey, an action has occurred and I reserve the right to sue you because this happened. Here's a little bit of heads up. It lets them kind of know to specifically they shouldn't be getting rid of anything ever, for public documentation and whatnot and public record laws. But it gives them a little bit of a heads up. Hey, this is something that know might be coming down the pipe here. Okay. And sometimes it's required. Sometimes it's not required. It just depends on what happens. It depends on if something's going to be a federal case or a state case. There's all these different rules and laws. I'm not an attorney, and that's the best non-attorney answer I can give. I'm sure I've fouled some stuff up there, but that's as close as I can get. That being said, it's the thing is, what they do is ahead of time, like JS is saying, sometimes they will come out and they will say, man, we don't want this to go to trial. Someone has filed a tort claim notice. And what they are saying in here is so bad. We don't want this to go to court. So they will start the process of settling with a person ahead of time. And they will say, hey, we don't want this to happen. Now, Sproles has been very clear. Sproles has said, I am not going to settle. He has said, thank you. He has said, I will not settle. Now, as I've stated, I don't know specifically if that's Sproles' determination or the insurance attorney's determination or the commissioners. I guess it depends on who's being sued, who's all named, who the chief person is, and for what and why and how. There's a lot of different things that go into that. So Sproles has been very clear, I'm not going to settle. And, you know, I'm cool with that. Sproles also says it'll have its day in court. Yes, everything will. Anything filed should have its day in court, and that will be fantastic. That will be absolutely fantastic. So that's important, but it's important to right these wrongs. Sproles is saying, "Oh, there's 4 or 5 people that don't like what I'm doing." Well, I could name right now 10 people that don't like what he's doing, and those would all be elected officials. Okay. All right. That's the thing. Here's the deal. Sproles gets to hang his hat on the fact that one of the people that was going after him had a hang-up in their life. Okay. That does not taint everybody else around them. Nor does it mean what that person was saying about Sproles was wrong. It doesn't. Sproles was in the wrong on those things. All right. So if he can sleep, if that makes him sleep better at night, I'll just say this. If that makes Sproles sleep better at night, then that makes me happy, because we don't want another situation where Sproles just completely loses it and goes crazy at the half-court-yard line in his basketball hall at his school, and his friends have to come take him away to the special little box again. We don't want that to happen. Mary says, the downplaying of the claims is madness. So 4 or 5 people got insurance company to drop you. Yeah, right. Right. You know what I mean? That's absolutely. Sproles has refused to settle several suits where he is the only named party. Yeah, absolutely. That is very, 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 very true. So, okay, let's continue on here.
And, multiple lawsuits go back to one person who is pushing this. And so here's what I will say. First of all, the facts are that there has been $0 worth of judgment against me in any lawsuit.
Correct. They have to go to court first.
And second of all,
or they have to settle first.
It's these keyboard warriors, I'll call them that. They are the ones that are costing the county money in filing, and what I would say, frivolous lawsuits. And all of these lawsuits will get their day in court. One of them is going to be soon. And so one thing that I have told multiple people is the great thing is we have 150 some cameras in the jail alone. So,
those cameras have nothing to do with my lawsuit.
I am not concerned in any manner of any of these lawsuits that have been brought forth. I'm not concerned about or worried about.
He's not. That shows the mental health issue.
Or myself. So, we'll just have to let them run their course.
But he doesn't.
And so, I am not in Listen. Our profession, obviously, it's a difficult profession, and there are going to be times and I've made this very clear. There's going to be times that all of us make mistakes. And so one thing that I have said is, I don't feel like it was a mistake in the incident that we've referred to many times about the beanbag incident.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it doesn't happen again. I don't want to be arrogant and stupid enough to say, well, if this happens again, I'll do the same thing. I'm not that dumb, because every situation is different. That exact situation will never happen again. There's always different circumstances. So I want to be careful, and I want to be mindful of liabilities. And so
you do.
I just want to do my job carefully. and mindfully. And, these in regard to the insurance, and like I said, it's a political tool right now, especially for several of our commissioners are, I think, kind of gleeful about this fact because they can
He is
throw
sick.
it at me. However, the interesting thing is the insurance agent told them, there's a lot of talk about, well, your deductible has gone sky high. The insurance agent advised the commissioners that their deductible for their buildings is $5,000 right now. It's liable to jump when they renew in June or July. That deductible is liable to jump from $5,000 to $100,000. So, what have they done to cause that? Is that the insurance market right now is a difficult market.
He's literally throwing around just nonsense.
I hate that we're having to spend extra money, but I will say this: it is the frivolity of these people pushing absolutely ridiculous lawsuits. And like I said, though, I can't speak to any specific one. They will all have their day in court, and I'm happy for that day to come to clear some of these things up. And I think some of the frivolous activity will probably be reeled in here soon once they start, once they start getting the day where we have to talk about facts over feelings. Right now, people's feelings are all over the place, but facts are what rule the day in the end. So,
Sheriff,
and that's what I'm looking forward to.
Real quick, is the inmate that Mr. Doty hit with the pepper ball, does he plan to sue you?
Listen,
I don't know if he plans to sue me. Obviously, I get named in any type of litigation regarding the jail. One thing I will say about him personally, and honestly, all of these inmates, I get back in the pods a lot. I go back and talk to these people, and quite frankly, enjoy it. I've got a good relationship with him. I have dealt with him on the street.
I talk to them and they enjoy it.
Yeah,
because I'll shoot them if they don't.
When I get back there and talk to our inmates. So, we've got a good relationship. I would welcome anybody to ask him what he thinks about the sheriff. He'll probably say, I think Sproles is a caring guy. He does come back here and give us the time of day. So, one thing that I don't want to ever pressure anybody on is, they have to do what they feel that they need to in regard to that. And so yeah, how that goes in the future, I don't know. And but we'll work with whatever we have to work with on it. And one thing that I do want to say, it's very important to me. Our mission statement at the Henry County Sheriff's Office is actually a scripture verse, and it is do justice, love mercy, and be humble. And it's something that we talk about regularly. If we can do those three things, then we're okay. I really push the part about being humble and loving mercy. These inmates are dealing with difficult times in their lives. They're dealing with difficult circumstances. Many of them have faced trauma in their lives beyond belief. And what I tell our staff is, listen, they know they've made a mistake. That they know why they're here. Let's help them during these difficult times. So there's many stories that don't get reported on where we'll get letters from inmates say, thank you so much for making this difficult time for me at least somewhat bearable. Thank you for your kindness. So it seems to be the negative things get reported on. But I rest. I can rest on the fact that our jail staff, our jail commander, and our assistant jail commander, we care about our inmates, and our inmates would attest to that. Yes, you have some that just want to pick on things.
Yes, Mary.
And some people you just can't make happy. But we do the best we can at treating these people with care and with compassion, and we will continue to do so.
All right, Sheriff, thank you so much. And just for clarification, you said one of the lawsuits is going to court soon. Would that be the lawsuit involving the Neal, Marquette Neal?
No, and I can't speak specifically. But no, that I don't even think that is. I think we've got maybe we have a tort notice on that.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff is public record. To my knowledge, at this point, it's only a tort notice.
Are you going to charge Curtis Doty with the crime for shooting the inmate?
Well, we don't. So just to make it clear, we don't charge as police officers. We don't charge it. That is up to the prosecutor's office. And so, as I said, we had our detective division, take statements that night and forward that to the prosecutor's office for them to make that decision. That's not a decision that we make. So yeah, I hear a lot of people talk about me arresting the guy, me arresting Doty, and me charging that. That's not,
I've not heard anybody talk about
that. Is up to the prosecutor's office. And
Sproles
so that is
charging him.
out of our hands. We don't dictate that at all.
So Doty was not arrested. He was fired.
Yeah, Doty was, I don't like the word fired. Doty was terminated, as I said, for his abusive language, terminated by us. And our detectives filed the information of the incident with the prosecutor.
You hear? Sproles
just
didn't
a
do
couple of days
anything
after the incident.
other than
The prosecutor
terminate somebody
did put out
for
a warrant
the F-bomb.
for simple battery. And Doty did turn himself in and bonded
He turned
out.
himself in
So,
because he was
I
picked
think
up
that's
on the
set for
warrant.
trial in, I don't know, July or something.
Okay,
But
so he
that is-
technically was arrested and charged for this.
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay, all right. That's something the Fox 59 story I don't think they had. So
Yes, it did.
no, I appreciate it. Oh yeah, they actually okay. Thank you very much, Sheriff Sprouls. I appreciate all your time.
Hey, listen, no problem. And save my easiest way to get a hold of me is by text.
Yeah, I'm going to save your number into my cell phone in case I'm sure we'll reach out again for a
no
story.
problem. And hey, listen, if you would shoot me a text on your cell phone, and maybe that's what you use. Let me know your cell phone. That way I can put it in and put your name in. That way it'll pop up as you, and I'll know to answer. But anytime you need anything over here,
Yeah, you're letting me
you
direct
let us
this
know.
and
You know,
say
I
what I
ran on
want to say and
professionalism,
lie through my teeth and
transparency
make
and
myself
accountability.
sound
So
good.
I want to make, I
Definitely want to be able to
I
be in
want to hit
contact
all of
with
those
you
items
again, because you're
so.
like
So,
kissing my ass and shit.
I'll
So
give all the
that's
information
awesome.
that I legally can. That's what I tell everybody. That's what I intend to do.
Fantastic. I'm just texting you right now with my information and my affiliation.
That,
Thank you.
ladies and gentlemen, was the report that occurred from today. Yeah. The judge that signed the warrant on the deal with Doty was give me 1 second here and I can tell you who. It was judge in Henry County Circuit Court 3. If someone can tell me who that is, I don't know who that is. Oh no, sorry. That's hold on. Ooh. Bench warrants. Yeah, bench warrant out of Circuit Court 3. I don't know who the judge was.
David McCord.
Okay, that might be. Yeah, I don't know. If that's what it says, I will agree to that. He is who issued the arrest report. He's who issued the warrant. So that is I noticed they also didn't give me the actual arrest report. So I'm going to have to get that because I did not get that from them. So I'm going to have to make notice of that, and I will send that as a request tomorrow to them as well. So that was the interview, ladies and gentlemen. And I feel as though Sproles is really just reaching. You can hear in that interview, as someone said, he talks in circles. He knows he is screwed. He is in trouble, and I don't feel sorry for him, because he could stop any of this. At any point, it could click and he could become a leader, but he's not a leader. A leader doesn't ever just say, it's everybody else's fault. When a leader makes a mistake, they are capable of saying, I made a mistake here. I should not have done this. I cannot do this. So, I don't, he is a bully. He is very scary. He is very, very, very scary. And I just feel as though I feel bad for the people of Henry County. And that's why I always say elections have consequences, man. You have to be willing to understand that every vote counts. There are elections in which people have won and lost by 5 or 6 or 3 or 2 votes, folks, on the local level. Imagine how horrible it would be. Imagine how horrible it would be if he became sheriff and won by like 3 votes or 2 votes. That wasn't a talk show. That was just a reporter from 93.1 WIBC. So it's just a news flash that I got being in connection with 93.1 WIBC. So that wasn't from a podcast or something. That was just one of the staff reporters from 93.1 WIBC. So I'm going to continue following up with what happens with this, with Sproles. He is right. Our lawsuit should quickly be going to court here soon. And when it does, I will keep you guys posted and let you know when that goes. Let me see here. I now, when that goes, I will let you guys know. We have a some kind of a court action in the 1st of April. April 6th or April 9th. I don't have it written on my Bilbrey 1, Sproles 0. Well, we will have to see. I don't know what will happen. I am hoping we will see what goes on. I feel very confident. I feel very confident in the in everything that has happened with the Supreme Court in the last couple of days, with circuit court or with First Amendment cases, and so I feel like things will go well there. All right, now moving on from Henry County, I do want to bring this up. This I also noticed this last night was also reported on Fox News, and I want to let you guys hear this. I was kind of shocked by this. Tell me, and I want to hear what Kate's opinion is. What do you hear about this?
Leaders in Muncie are deciding whether or not to tear down an old fire station.
That's right. The question is whether a new one will address some of the rising needs in the area. Today, Fox 59's Michael Van Scoik spoke with the city's mayor and fire chief, who both say the fire department has outgrown their more than 70-year-old fire station.
Station 6 on Muncie's northeast side was built in the mid-1950s, but over the last 7 decades, Mayor Dan Ridenauer says its condition has slowly deteriorated.
That building is in such disrepair and how it was done years and years ago that there's water issues, mold issues.
A comprehensive study of all of the city's fire stations found this one to be in the worst condition. And Fire Chief Dan Burford says the department has outgrown it. Muncie Fire ended EMS services in 2019.
When all of our stations were built, that was pre-EMS days. So now we're running a transport EMS service out of buildings that were designed to just hold fire suppression.
The nearby railroad tracks also sometimes isolate Station 6, Chief Burford says. This can occasionally make it difficult for those crews to get to fires or for other stations to join and help.
There's multiple times a day that apparatus and ambulances have to redirect due to rail traffic. Getting resources in, during those times is definitely delayed.
Mayor Ridenauer says the nearly $8 million rebuild would help address this issue by being able to house more firefighters and adding a third garage and bay.
We really need 3, so you can have 3 pieces of equipment instead of just 2, and it only sleeps 5 now. And we really need for it to have the ability to take up to 8.
Ultimately, Mayor Ridenauer and Chief Burford say a new station would better accommodate first responders and provide better fire protection.
We just want to make sure that we're providing good coverage with our fire department in our city.
In Muncie, Michael Van Scoik, Fox 59 News.
What?
How does a $9 million new fire station help address the fact that there's sometimes trains that get in the way?
Well,
so we're going to build a $9 million new station. That's great.
In the same spot.
And then we're going to tear out all the railroad through Muncie and we're going to make it an E. And we'll spend, $39 billion to have it up on stilts so the fire trucks can go under the train.
That's hilarious.
I don't understand.
Number one,
why do you bring up the train?
Number one, I didn't even think about that. That's a good point. The train situation.
I'm sorry, $8 million. It's still stupid.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The train situation will not be resolved with the new fire department. The fire department is going to be built like 60 yards or less from the new station. Okay. It's not going to be built on the other side of the track. It's not going to be built in another location in town. It's going to be built in the same area.
Even if they build it on the other side of the track, because what if they need to get back to where they were to start with?
Sure. So you're going to have to deal with that. That's not going to be solved by this. Number two, this has already been voted on by the city council. I don't understand what I thought. Are they recycling news stories? I don't understand what this news story. It aired last night. And I don't understand what they're doing. This is basically a done deal. They remember when Rose Selby was going crazy and we don't want to do racial things and it's race relations. And she was going crazy a couple years ago or it happened March. It happened in the February meeting. All right.
Are there people out there protesting that this is a done deal or something and they feel the need to have a PR campaign?
I am. Audie is. We're talking about it, the need of it still. It should be done through the bid process rather than the bot transfer bot issue. That's the only thing I'm saying. It needs to not be a $9 million station or an $8 million station or an $8.9 million station at one location. I'm saying that you should be able to build two for one.
They don't build the new fire station. It's because they don't like black people.
Yeah, that's what Rose Selvey was trying to. That's what.
That's right. The people elected her, so she's going to fight for them and make everything a racial issue.
Only black people elected her, I think. And I just and
I agree. They need a new fire station. They deserve a new fire station. It's 70 years old and it needs some help. Yeah. But do we need to spend $8 million on it? I'm sorry, I'm not involved in that. I don't pay Delaware County taxes, but do the citizens of Muncie need to pay $8 million?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. See, that's what we missed there, Christopher.
What?
They're going to build on both sides of the tracks, one on both sides of the tracks, and then put a tunnel in between them.
Yeah, right. Yes, that would be great.
Okay. Thank you for explaining that, John. We totally missed that.
Muncie City Council does meet in 2 weeks, but again, I don't know what I don't know. Let me see if their agenda is out already. I thought that this was really strange that this was this was ran last night. And you've got Dan and Burford. Well, you got both of the Dans, all three of the Dans, the three Dans, the mayor, the fire chief, and the deputy fire chief are all Dan Ride, or they're all Dan Ridenhours. They're all Dans. And so I don't know why they were on. I don't know what they were pushing. It was very strange, and no, the April agenda is not out yet. So I don't know what the deal is, but I would be willing to say we're going to see something funky on the agenda this coming meeting. And still, ladies and gentlemen, we have not had the committee meeting yet that we've been waiting on since October. We've been waiting on a committee meeting since October, and we still have not had this. So that's that. Also, in other news in Muncie, I do want to talk about the crisis center. Okay, the Muncie City Crisis Center. It was hold on. Let me see here. Make sure. Damn it. I'm going down through. Oh, I thought I guess I was wrong. I thought Charlize had a copy of the Crisis Center, a picture. Did you not say that last night, Kate? Let me look.
Yeah, she had put up something about the Crisis Center. I don't remember if there was a picture or not. It was a post.
Charlize, are you still here? Sorry, I was going down looking through pictures. Now I'm going to go back and look for comments. It would have been from Sunday, I guess. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything about it, but I will tell you, the Crisis Center is still there. And I have not heard anything more. I did send out a records request to the city of Muncie, and I said that I wanted to know what the check was for $64,000 to Fredericks. Check number 263992, vendor number 78777. in the amount of $6,424.50 to Fredericks. It was paid on the 15th of March. It was voted on by the Board of Works on the 13th of March. And I sent out a records request today for that information. That should be something that I should have back in, I would say, no later than the end of the week. But it is the city of Muncie, and it is Christopher Bilbrey, so who knows when they will get it to me. But I did request that. I also, let's see here. Nope, that's basically it for that. So we will be looking for that. Also, I want to tell you guys, as far as Delaware County goes, tomorrow, we won't do this tonight, but tomorrow we're going to go over the Delaware County Commissioners meeting that happened on Monday. There is definitely some information there that you guys need. It's important information, but we don't have time to do it tonight. I want to be able to give it the full attention. And I also want to pitch a little bit of a bitch here right now. The Delaware County government live streams a lot of their meetings. I've always thought they did a pretty good job with that. However, for some unknown reason, back a while ago, they changed where they would live stream these meetings. They used to be just on Facebook. Then they went to Facebook and YouTube. Then they were on Facebook and YouTube for a long time, and that was good because people could watch either or. Now they are only solely on YouTube, and a lot of people don't know that. But the biggest issue that I have is it's taking them weeks and weeks, sometimes as long as a month, to get videos uploaded. So, for example, there was a Delaware County Redevelopment Commission meeting. Basically, it's the Delaware County's version of the Muncie Redevelopment Commission meetings. So it's the county side. And there was a meeting that took place on Thursday, March 14th, the day of the weather and the tornado. There has not been a showing of this meeting yet. I was told by members of that body that the camera crew people from Mark Slusher's, whatever the name of his company is, they were there. It took place in the building that he operates out of, so they should have definitely been there. That they recorded the meeting and that they said it would be up, but it's still not up. That meeting took place 6 days ago, and it's still not up. Why is it not up? Mark Slusher, please do your best to get these up. I mean, seriously, no later than 24, 48 hours from when they are recorded. It's not like you're doing a bunch of editing, or you shouldn't be doing any editing. Maybe you put on a beginning, maybe you put on an end, but you should be doing no editing to these videos. No editing whatsoever. So I don't understand why this would be taking so long. But there is some things that happened in that meeting that I want to watch and I want to bring your attention to. So we'll see how long, now that I've posted that I want it, how long it'll take. It'll probably never be shown, but that would be too obvious, I think. So we'll be looking for that. Tomorrow on Wednesday, we'll go over the Muncie Board of Works meeting. We'll go over the Delaware County Commissioners meeting from Monday. I want to tell you guys that the Delaware County Republicans Women's Breakfast was this last Saturday, and the meeting went off As I expected, with the absolute division in the room being seen, split right down the middle. Team small-minded, help ourselves and not the citizens. Team that team was over on one side, and then the folks that are interested in actual public service, like the sheriff, and the folks that are running Stephen Brand, and those people are over on the other side of the room. And I will tell you, I'm looking to see, I hope that Stephen Brand recorded his speech. If he did, we'll play some speeches tomorrow, but the speeches went off pretty good. And I'm hearing that Steve Brand pulled some, did not pull his punches and laid it all out on the line during the meeting. So that will be a good thing to go over. We'll kind of talk about that. They had the St. Patty's walk on Saturday. And then the other thing that I keep getting a lot of people asking me about and saying, hey, why aren't you mentioning anything about this? Why aren't you mentioning anything about this? I got to tell you, the night of the storm, we were on for right at about 4 hours, maybe 3 hours, 3.5 hours the night of the storm. And then I didn't go to bed. You know, I stayed up looking at damage, and they did a press release at like 12:30. So I listened to that, and we did all of that stuff. And then I stayed up, and then I left early in the morning. Well, early that morning, probably about 6 o'clock in the morning, I was made aware that a former Delaware County Sheriff's deputy and the former Delaware County clerk and a former Delaware County auditor had been arrested for some pretty serious crimes, alleged crimes. That he had been arrested for pointing a firearm and intimidation, level 6 and level 5 felonies, and that he had been arrested and booked into the jail at about 8 o'clock Thursday evening, like right as the storm was hitting, that he had been booked into the jail. And he bonded out, of course, and people were like, are you going to run with that? Are you going to run with that? And I was like, at first it kind of intrigued me because I was like, what in the world? But I was like, man, that does not, like, I know this guy, and I was like, it does not sound like him at all. Like something has to be up here. And of course, I'm talking about Steve Craycraft, and that just blows a lot of people's minds. They're like completely just shocked that Steven would do this. Former sheriff's deputy. He was a great guy. He was a detective. He helped a lot of people in his time. Very soft spoken. Very.
You know what his bond was? I'm curious because we know somebody else who was arrested on almost identical charges.
Pointing a firearm?
Intimidation.
Intimidation?
Uh-huh. Who bonded out and went to England.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't say those are... What are you talking about? Because he was also charged with... I would say that Lewis
I know that. I'm being silly.
Oh, I get it. Well, I will tell you...
I'm interested what
his bond was total was $10,000.
Oh, so he paid $1,000 to get out. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So it was $10,000. But that was Friday morning, and something just didn't set right with me because I was getting ready to make a post and post his picture on there. The guy's not a politician anymore. He retired. He's part of the Democratic Party in Delaware County. But he's always been kind of a conservative, conservative-minded Democrat. Very, very by the book kind of guy. So this just really shocked me. And I'm not going to get fully into the story. I'm just saying, I hope Steve has a day in court. I know he'll have a day in court. And I back Steve. I back Steve 100%. So I don't. Good on you, Steve. I want everybody to know that sometimes shit happens, and sometimes you have to make a decision on what you're going to do. And as my dad told me long, long ago, you can do anything you want. You just have to be willing to pay the consequence for it. And Steve knows as good, if not better than anybody else, what consequences are. And I think Steve was in a situation where he said, I'm going to make a decision here, and it's going to go one of two ways. And I just got to say, I don't fault Steve, and I back Steve. So, I'm not going to dog him on this. We'll see what happens and see what goes on. But shit. Jack, you're an idiot. You idiot. Thank you, Jackie. So that's that. And then the very last thing I want to say, the very, very last thing that I want to say before we go, just because I announced it the other day and I thought that it would probably be important to cover. Let me pull this up, and I want to share this with you guys because you guys have been along with the ride for all of this. So I thought that I would bring this up so you guys could see it. Get her here. Man, where is it? Right here we go. This happened yesterday. Yesterday, Monday the 18th, Governor Eric Holcomb signs House Bill 1338 into law. Governor Eric Holcomb signed the final bill of 2024 session into law Monday that limits the powers of his own appointed expert on the state's public records and open meeting laws. The majority of House Enrolled Act 1338, carried by ignorant Representative J.D. Prescott, Republican, Union City, focuses on disruptive conduct at public meetings. But toward the end of the legislative session, Senator Aaron Freeman, another tool bag Republican of Indianapolis, tacked on an amendment requiring the public access counselor to only interpret the exact text of the state laws or applicable court cases when issuing advisory opinions. Holcomb told reporters last week that he hopes lawmakers would have had more robust discussion about the access counselor's amendment, but then signed the bill Monday following the conclusion of the Sunshine Week. Yay! A nonpartisan effort to highlight why public records and open government matter. Holcomb is such a tool bag, man. Concerns raised regarding the provisions affecting the Office of Public Access Counselor were taken into account, but ultimately, in my opinion, muted by the fact that the judicial review of the office's decision is left untouched and that the governor retains the ability to appoint that position in the future. The governor's statement reads, the current public access counselor is Luke Britt, who is the longest-serving person to lead in the office. The Office of the Public Access Counselor was formed by Governor Frank O'Bannon through an executive order in 1998 and then codified by the General Assembly in 1999. Britt was originally appointed in 2013 by former Governor Mike Pence and then reappointed to the role by Eric Holcomb. Britt declined to comment on the new law because, like the bitch he is, he pushed this law in favor of JD for whatever reason at the beginning. Britt's job involves educating Hoosiers and government officials about Indiana's public records and open meetings law, but also includes sharing advisory opinions if an individual submits a complaint to his office with questions about how public agency handles state laws. The advisory opinions can indicate if a person or agency violated state law, but the documents themselves do not specifically have any legal weight. Before the bill reached Holcomb's desk, State House Democrats decried, and a lot of other people decried that. Where did that go?
Right below the picture.
Oh, there we are. Decried the Public Access Council's provision as stripping away transparency efforts, while Republicans that support the language said that they disagreed with some of Britt's advisory opinions. Freeman specifically told reporters that Britt issued opinions that went too far in liberally interpreting the law. He cited a 2023 advisory opinion about two members of the Hamilton Eastern Public Library Board meeting at a coffee shop with attorneys as an example of a liberal interpretation. Another amendment to the bill from the final weeks of the legislative session makes it so that the appointed committee of government agencies are not required to adhere to the state's open door law. But that one was vetoed, or that one did not pass. Holcomb in his, wait a minute, what? Another amendment to the bill from the final weeks of the legislative session makes it so that appointed committees of a government agency are not required to adhere to the state's open door law. Kate, did you know about that?
No, I did not. So the Board of Works no longer has to publish when they're having meetings. They're an appointed committee. And there are no elected members on it.
I need to read that law tomorrow. I didn't know anything about that.
That's crap. I did not know about that one.
That's that was talking about the thing that got dropped. That's nuts. Holcomb in his first term vetoed a 2017 House bill that would have allowed a government agency to charge hourly fees for searching for public records. The House at the time unanimously voted to agree with the governor's vote. Okay, that's great. It said really nothing. That says nothing about 1338. However, that idiot signed that, so now we're stuck with it, and we just will have to fight it or whatever happens. So I'm telling you, I'm going to continue doing what I do, and if I need to challenge that, or that has to be challenged, or if I'm the one that challenges it, I'll be their Huckleberry. I'm fine with that, but I'm going to have to look into that last passage there because I knew nothing about that. That would definitely be a hill to die on. Yeah, they're an appointed committee with decision-making authority too. Yeah, that is I don't remember that ever being discussed. And I watched every one of the committee meetings about that. I never heard that. I'll have to go back and watch.
Well, this last week of stuff, wasn't it? Those are like closed door hearings, right?
Yeah, but at that point, I didn't think that they could add anything. I thought it was just, I don't know. I'm going to have to go back and look. That's gross if that's what happened. I don't know. All right,
they
folks.
Keep stripping our rights.
Yeah, no shit. A little by little. And these people that are so-called conservatives are allowing it to happen. It's ridiculous that the Democrats in Indiana are more conservative-minded than the ignorant-ass Republicans. Keep that in mind. Super majority go, yeah, no shit. Well, that's just gross. All right, folks. Hey, thanks for watching. Share the show with everyone you know. Spread the word, and we will see you back here tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Thank you for being understanding and letting me have some time with my mother last night. You guys rock as always. We will see you back here tomorrow. Good night. God bless.